Welcome everyone to day 8 of our 90-day game plan. As promised in the past videos, today is going to be an absolute deep dive on something that we are launching completely brand new on the platform. And I want to walk you through how that launch worked and what these things are that we focus on. And I'm trying to give you a couple of rules and ideas how maybe you yourself can launch products in a similar manner. Now, we covered the MVP already, and we discussed what this means on the product side and on the marketing side. And we're going to just briefly summarize that, but then we're really going to dig deep in how that decision making works. Obviously, it's important that you think about the avatar that we discussed yesterday, your target audience. And it's also important that you really understand that great companies, they launch quickly, but they understand what they really need to focus on. And I think that's such an essential concept. Here, let me go into a bit of a screen share. I hope you can see my screen here. Maybe let me know in the chat if everything works well so I can see this. But at the end, right, if you're doing this wrong, then all you're focusing on is you're focusing on one little slice of kind of the pyramid of things that are relevant, right? So when you look at design and UX, you look at the actual usability, you look at the functions, you look at how secure or safe something is. If you're only looking at the bottom, then everything kind of falls short. And in my opinion, you're not going to be doing all too well. But the absolute crucial part is basically that you take a cut this way here. So you take a cut where you take out the key concepts out of every little layer here. And by doing so, you provide the customer what the customer really, really, really wants. And for this, you just really have to ask yourself a couple of crucial questions. You need to ask yourself, how fast do you want to launch? For example, this is a real scenario right now. The absolute crucial thing in this 90-day game plan was that I told the team that I want to launch this in the second week. So basically, this means by day 10, because that's the Friday, I want to launch this thing. And so I asked the team prior, I said, what can we offer to customers if this is the requirement, right? Give me the idea, what can we offer there? Because obviously, if I would have given them until the end of the 90 days, sure, we could have offered way more. And I think that's such a crucial one, right? So time. The other one is always functionality, right? So what are the functionalities that you want? Well, many times it actually becomes a result, not so much a criteria, but I did have some requirements. And you will see when we now dive in a bit on what we're actually launching and what this actually means. But we had some of those criteria up front. And then obviously the last part is always resources or cost. How many engineers, how many team members can we actually have who work on those things? Because obviously if you put everyone on the team on one thing, well, stuff goes way quicker for sure, but that means you're sacrificing a lot of other things. And well, we're in this 90-day game plan, so everyone is kind of really hustling and working hard. So it's not so simple to just say, well, we need everyone to work on one thing because we have so many other things launching as well. What comes into play here is this entire skateboard kind of idea. So what we're launching, I mentioned this a couple of times, and here you can see a bit of a preview on all of this, is the so-called custom bundle builder. But what's very unique about this is that the custom bundles that you build can be used by others, and when these others use it, you get a return on that. And that is completely unique. It's basically like an Amazon for finance. You can build things that you can then sell on the platform, and other people can invest in those things, and they can basically follow those investment ideas. And that's also where a lot of these other ideas come from, with 90 new coins that we want to list on the platform in the next days. Because at the end, we want to bring this very, very wide. We want to allow you to have over 100 coins that you can kind of put together and stuff together and different percentages. And we're going to have the craziest custom bundle ideas that some very large influencers are going to talk about, and maybe some people who maybe have like just 3-4 followings. But that doesn't matter. At the end, what matters is to look at which bundles perform the best, are going to do well, how much are people actually going to be allocating in those bundles. And that's going to be an absolute crucial one, right? So if we kind of think this through and we think of, well, what would the ideal scenario here look like? So let's start with the Mercedes S-Class here, right? So we're kind of really talking at the very, very end here, right? So if that's the ultimate goal here at the end, right? So that's the S-Class. Then obviously everyone would love to have that you just go into the app, you have 1,000 different coins. You can, with a few click of a button, you even have AI support how to kind of get these bundles together. AI helps you to name those things, make descriptions, already predefines social media posts for you, so you can just go out and share all those things. Then you can have auto rebalancing either on a minute basis, on an hour basis, daily basis, right? You have all these insane functionalities. That would be kind of the Mercedes S-Class, and that's where we want to get to. But now you kind of need to work a bit backwards, and you need to ask yourself, well, what will be the first step of that that kind of supports your thesis that this is what people really want? Because it's very dangerous to assume that this is what people want. You really need to test this stuff, and this is super essential. Now, if you wait and build everything here until the very end, well, you may take a very, very long time, right? This is probably going to take a few months. But if you have only a few days or a few weeks, you need to start as lean as possible. And so what we did is we just built all those building blocks that we already had. So we have the concept of bundles. Obviously, we have an app, we have an exchange, we can list more coins, we have a fantastic community and social media team. And so if we put all those things together, we can actually have all those building blocks leaner. We can test the general interest, we can test how does this actually work, how do customers approach with this, we can test the reach, the best communication, what do customers actually want? And we can then, with our top customers, actually work hand in hand where we provide the so-called scooter. And then we provide in a later stage the bike, and then we provide the motorcycle, and then we provide the car, a better car, a better car, a better car. And that's kind of how to do this. And that is what I kind of want to show you here a bit. For example, obviously on the Mercedes kind of thing, S-Class, you have everything in the app. Everything's automated, everything is super fast. But that makes it very difficult to launch quickly because there's a lot of moving parts here. So the way we work around this is we have a site where you get to, and you're gonna, like, at the beginning only our elite customers will get this. So we're gonna launch this in phases. We're gonna have a bit of a beta launch, right? So we're gonna launch this in phases. At the beginning only our elite customers get to see this, and only our elite customers kind of get to work with this. And then from the app, they get to that site, and then from there, they can name their bundles, they can add the allocations, the coins, the percentages, the rules, the ideas, the naming, and so on. Then this gets checked by the moderation team, because obviously we don't want to have any bad content, or we don't want to have any illegal things in there. So we're going to check those things. There's going to be some guidelines on this. And obviously in the later stage, we want to have all this automated, but this is not possible if we want to launch fast and lean and really well. And we're going to learn a lot, right? We're going to learn at what step do customers struggle. We can also learn a lot about the data, so that later on, when we use a lot of AI for those things that the AI helps you with, then we can fill those things in, right? These are all things that down the line are going to be super, super valuable and useful. And then from there, to kind of give you a bit of a sense what this looks like, and I'm actually going to show you the actual Figma file, right? So you're actually going to see still the comments and you see everything. And we're doing this on purpose because I want to really take you behind the scenes, right? You can see here coming soon. So you can see the various things here. And so I just really think this is so crucial to see and to understand and to see a bit how this kind of looks like. So here's kind of the website. I can zoom in, right? You can here monetize your crypto influence, earn commissions on the bundles that you make. So this is what this is going to look like. And then here you create your bundles, you recommend it, and you earn from others. And then you can see here to build the bundle. At the beginning, this will only be available for elites, and then later on, it's also going to be available for others or for everyone. But we're going to launch this in phases. We just always want to learn. And then obviously there's going to be the referral commission for building this, and you can really make some serious earnings here. There's going to be a calculator, and yeah, I mean, I really think this is amazing here. A man's best friend, right? Because obviously we're also going to be building some bundles internally here with some of the dog coins, the degen memesu, the decentralized blues. You're obviously trying to give it some names here. Fairhut is building this bundle. Let's see how many people are picking this up. All about cash flow. It's a cash flow bundle, right? Then we have the bull run bag. Man, there's some really exciting stuff on all this. Yeah, so I mean, and there's gonna be obviously love that our team actually is also gonna build bundles and try to be creative about this, right? And yeah, and so that's how we're gonna launch this super lean. There's obviously the various ways there's gonna be reiterations in how to kind of work on top of that. What's gonna be the next function and the next feature, and the goal for you as an entrepreneur when you launch these things is obviously to dream about the outcome at the end. What's the like ultimate, what it would be the Mercedes S-Class, and try to dream as big and as beautiful as possible, right? And for me, the bundles are, well, we don't only offer crypto assets, we can offer any asset. It's this true Amazon for finance. You have people building those bundles. You have people who can put these together. AI actually helps them with the naming, with the editing, with the pictures, with the graphics, makes this very nice. There's auto assets so that you can put this on social media. You can adjust those. You can rebalance. You can adjust when to rebalance, how often to rebalance. And so that's kind of the Mercedes S-Class. And then you need to have this first step here, right? And then you need to kind of envision what you would try to learn from, what is the feedback that you're trying to get. And let me give you a couple of ideas here, right? So, for example, if the feedback is, yeah, but right now this is still a bit manual, or, right now this is not all intertwined, perfect. That's actually feedback that just shows you that you launched well, right? Because that shows you that this is maybe not something that's so relevant at the beginning. What's relevant at the beginning is to see people come in and see how do they create these bundles. What questions do they have? What do they want? Maybe there's features or things that you don't even have in mind, right? And that's what you try to get to. And you try to get a small reiteration. So you're trying to improve on all those levels here, right? So if you go here, at the end, you're trying to improve on design slightly. You're trying to improve on the UX slightly, the usability, the functionality, right? How, like, obviously, for example, the reliability, the security, that always depends on what product you're in. But for example, for us, right, in crypto, it's absolutely crucial that customers don't lose their funds, right? So here we need to be very high up. When others, it's okay that we're a bit lower. But then on every iteration over iteration over iteration, you're trying to not improve only on one thing, but you're always trying to add on all those fronts. And so you're trying to kind of have an alpha, betas, and you keep going, right? Version 1, version 2, version 3, and you just kind of keep growing on there. And so if you're doing this for yourself, then you need to kind of dream about that end. You need to dream, you need to kind of work backwards to that first step. And again, I do believe that people tend to be a bit overcautious in launching. So they want to always wait until everything is perfect. People love to wait until everything is perfect. They don't want to actually get started. Where I think what's really crucial is to really get started with that first version and then work over it, work over it, work over it. Maybe at the beginning, just like we do, have like a closed beta that launches. So there's only your elite customers, your best customers, the most loyal customers, customers that you trust. Start with those. And then take the next step, take the next step, take the next step. And one thing we're actually going to be discussing next week, probably on Monday, if, like, depending on if there's some spontaneous kind of data we're putting in, but right now the content schedule says for Monday, we're actually going to look at the marketing plan for that MVP, right? What is relevant on each of those marketing steps? And you will actually see that the skateboard, obviously at the beginning, has to be marketed a bit differently, also to different people. Then obviously the Mercedes S-Class. And it's also important that you listen to the right feedback. You want to actually hear certain feedback at the beginning, namely that what you're delivering is not a Mercedes S-Class, right? Because if people be like, wow, this is like such a finalized, finished product, maybe you waited a bit too long, right? And so all these things are very relevant. And so I want to take you a bit behind the scenes here so you can see what these customized bundle actually gonna look like that we want to launch by Friday. Let's see, maybe we can get it even out tomorrow, Thursday, but definitely by Friday. And then hopefully by the end of next week, because it's going to take us a little while for the content moderation, just making sure these bundles are actually working. And then hopefully by the end of next week, all these bundles then go live. And we're going to bring these bundles live in batches. And obviously, we're going to need to be adding more and more coins. We hope we get feedback from that early group. What other coins do people want to see? What other bundles? And so that's then that really good exchange. And with that, right? And so now it's day 8. And so now I hope you start seeing a completely new dimension to us as a company, because this is something we've never had. I'm at least not aware of other companies ever doing it this way. And it really kind of goes in line with that big vision that I always had for Cake as a company, which is be the Amazon for finance. Allow people to build things and then sell things. In this case, it's obviously you're building your own financial kind of concepts, and then you allow other people to participate, then you benefit from that. So yeah, it's gonna be obviously the same kind of principles, full transparency. You see everything, you can trace and track everything, just like on all the other parts. We do this always with the same kind of principles. It's about the transparency, it's about attractive returns, and it's about the ease of use. So we're gonna launch a lot also on marketing and content on the company's channels. So view there as well. There it's going to be very product specific, user experience specific, because I think that's really crucial there. Here on my personal channel, I want to talk more from the CEO's point of view. I want to give you a bit of the behind the scenes. If you have questions on this, let me know. I would love to answer them in the upcoming videos. And yeah, if you just like this content, click the subscribe button, click the like button. Obviously, try out those new bundles that are being launched. And then I hope I see you tomorrow for the next video. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.